Hey folks, Todd here. Today we're going to install the Gator FX on the 2022 and up body style Toyota Tundra. The tools we'll be using for this installation are a ratchet with a 1/2-inch socket and a Phillips head screwdriver. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, next what we're going to do is install our corner seals up into the corners. So on the bulkhead, we don't need to put a bulkhead seal on top, but you can see where there's a little dip right in here. There's also a little gap opening right back behind here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of pull our fiber liner back a little bit to where we can get access to this area back in here. Now we've got a couple of seals in our kit. We've got this block seal, it's a gap filler that's going to go kind of up in here and against the bulkhead like so. And then we've also got this piece right here. It's kind of a D shape that's going to stick to the inside of our bed cap just like so. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and clean off those surfaces where it's going to adhere with some rubbing alcohol, and then we'll go ahead and adhere those. If you lift up on that bed cap, it'll just pop right up. So that's the surface that we're going to be sticking to right there. So I'm going to clean that off nice and thoroughly. And then also down in here, this vertical surface right behind the backside of the bulkhead here. And then we can go ahead and set our stuff in place. So we're just going to peel away protective tape. And the way I like to do this is push it all the way, since it's adhesive on this side, I'll push it all the way up against the side of the bed cap here, slide it all the way up, and then slide it towards the bulkhead until it hits just like so. And then this piece here, we'll go ahead and peel that back. And that's going to go right down into this area here. So I'm going to need to just kind of pull up on this piece. Drop this guy right down in there. And there we go. And we're going to repeat the same process on the opposite side. Okay, now here is our driver's side rail. Now the prop rod is to the inside of that rail. Also up towards the front, we've got a drain cup where the spout is shooting straight down. What we're going to do, this is going to be laying on top of our bed cap and just kind of hanging there, and it's going to go forward to touch the bulkhead. But if you've got the deck rail system, what you're going to need to do is first remove that end plug before you can do that. And then I'm just going to pull this down. We'll set this back into place and then run this all the way up against the bulkhead, just like so. Now this is where it's going to be oriented. Now before we set it in place, let me show you how your clamps are going to work. So I'm going to set this down to the side. These are our clamps. Now the clamps, they basically just kind of loosen up like so, and they spread apart. Now, because this is a Tundra, you may have the deck rail system here, or you may not have that deck rail system. If you do not have the deck rail system, you'll use the clamps just the way they are, and it will be going up into the bed cap and clamping together like so once it's attached to the rail. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. We have the deck rail system, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this clamp apart. This really long bolt I'm not going to be able to use because it's going to be too long. I will be using this washer and this part of the clamp that has a slotted hole. The part that has the threaded hole I will not be using. All right, now if I have the rail here and I lift it up, what you're going to notice is I've got a channel that's running through the inside of this rail. Now the way that this clamp is shaped, it will actually snap right into that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and insert it into the rail, and then rotate it down, and it just kind of clamps, it just kind of clicks in place, and then I can adjust that forward and backward. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the other two, I've already taken these apart, so I'm going to take the other two and also snap them into the rail. Get it back a little bit further. And then get one kind of closer to the tailgate. And then we can rotate that down and see it's lining up to our deck rail system. Now I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. Down below, we've also got the other portion of our clamp system that we're going to use. So in our kit, what we'll have We're going to keep the black washer, but we'll also use the silver bolt and the lock washer from our kit and go through that. We're going to set these to the side. Up here, we're going to take our plug out of our deck rail system. And these T-nuts, what we're going to do, make sure this side is facing out, but we're going to slide these into the deck rail system. And get them lined up just like this. Now we can set this in place. Let me also go ahead and point out the drain tube right here, the drain cup. We have drain tubes it can attach to. That just slides over top of the drain cup and presses in place. And then you can route this out like a kick out or something like that. But what I'm gonna do, I'm not even gonna use this because we've got the fiber liner, it's waterproof on the other side. So I'm gonna have this one set up to where it just drops any kind of water behind the fiber liner. And now what we're gonna do is take and line up these just like so. And then I'll move this out of the way so I can take my hardware, line it up. And I'm going to put this on just hand tight for right now. But as I'm putting this on, I want to make sure that this is all the way up against the bed cap and all the way down as well. And all the way up against the bulkhead. So as I'm holding that into place, get that finger tight here. And this one in finger tight. And go through the one on the end as well. All right, we want to double check, make sure everything's all where it needs to be. Then we're going to go ahead and tighten everything down to 10 foot-pounds using a 1/2 inch wrench or ratchet. All right, repeat the same process for the rail on the opposite side. So this is the way the cover is going to come out of the box. Now you'll notice right up here this corner, we've got these straps that are attached underneath our slam latch. So if I grab the cover right here and I lift up, we're going to have our header panel. So I'm going to go ahead and fold the header panel out because this is what we're going to be focusing on right now. So everything I do on this side will also do on the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and peel away our tape. It's going to cover up these two holes here. Fold this side back and peel away this tape as well. All right, next what we're going to do in our kit, we're going to have a couple of threaded backers. So these basically are going to slide into these holes here. And then you want to hold them in those holes while we line up everything else up in this side over here. So what we're going to do is, this is our clip receiver. It needs to be attached here because it has to be able to face the clip. So we're going to flip that over. On the bottom, we need to attach the adhesive rubber on the bottom. So we'll peel that off. Make sure you line up the holes. Make sure it's oriented the correct way. And then we're going to line it up to the holes underneath. We're going to take a Phillips head screwdriver, use the included Phillips head bolts, and get them lined up. I would not tighten down either one until you got both of them lined up and started. But then once you have both of them started, you can go ahead and lift up and snug them down. Don't over tighten them, just get them nice and snug. We're going to fold this side over. Now down here is a C channel. That C channel is for our cover retaining clamp. The way that works is just like this. So this is our clamp. You'll notice we've got a little notch on this side, and we have a groove that's on this side. The groove is going to be facing towards where our rail is going to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen that up. Once we have that nice and loose, I can push up on that, and the carriage bolt is going to come out the top side, and it's got a square head on it. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up that square head inside that channel. That channel is going to trap that carriage bolt and keep it from being able to spin. And this notch right here, we want to make sure that notch goes down into the groove. This is just going to kind of hold it in place. And we're just going to get it a little snug. We don't need to tighten it down. We're just holding it in place until we get it up on top of the rails. We're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. Then we're going to pick it up and set it on the rails of the truck and then attach it from there. Now we're going to go ahead and set the cover up on top of the rails. We want to make sure it's centered side to side. And we also want to make sure that it is right up against the bulkhead. So I'm going to push until it hits the bulkhead and double check side to side. Okay, that's pretty well centered. Come back here and center that first panel. All right, now one panel at a time, we're going to start folding it back towards the tailgate. All right, and as we fold back each panel, we want to make sure that it's nice and centered side to side. And when we get to the tailgate, again, once we center it side to side, make sure we have good engagement at the tailgate. So I'm going to drop down, pop this up, close the tailgate, and make sure that we've got good engagement. Oops, it needs to come back a little bit on this side. And that looks good, so let's go ahead and fold it up to the front very carefully so we do not shift the alignment of the cover because we got it nice and dialed in. Okay, now here we are back underneath the cover. We're on the driver's side right behind the bulkhead. This is our cover retaining clamp, and this is the rail that we need to attach to. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen up the cover retaining clamp. Now I want to point out again that we do have this notch, so make sure that notch stays nested inside that channel. And then on this side we're going to have a groove, and that groove needs to trap our rail. So we're going to bring it over to where the groove grabs a hold of the rail. Then we can go ahead and tighten that down. Just get it nice and snug. Once it's snug, repeat the same process on the opposite side. All right, now the cover, when we fold it up against the cab, we want to make sure the cab is protected and the cover is protected from each other. So in your kit, you're going to have 3 rubber cab bumpers. Now before we just install those, what we need to do is see exactly where they need to be installed. So I'm going to put one right towards the center and one on each side. Make sure that if you come up to the side, you're at least an inch away from the edge so that you're not hitting the rail with the cab bumper. Before we install them, we also need to wipe down the surface with some rubbing alcohol. That will completely clean off any kind of residue from manufacturing or anything that doesn't need to be there that might weaken that bond. And once we let that dry, we can go ahead and peel away the adhesive protector. We're going to set it into place. I like to put it all the way up to the top edge of that frame and then bear down, give it nice pressure. That's going to give you the best bond. Do the other two the exact same way. And again, make sure you're about an inch away from the end of this this frame, because whenever this lands on top of the rail, we don't want this actually landing on the rail. there we go. Well, it's just that simple, and that concludes the installation.